Every financial channel will tell you how to make more money, how to invest, how to build assets, how to escape the rat race. This channel has spent 11 episodes doing exactly that. But there is one lesson that almost nobody talks about. One lesson that Kiyosaki saved for last. Not because it is the least important, because it is the hardest to hear, the hardest to believe, and for most people the hardest to act on. There is a moment when you are holding something tightly. Not a physical thing, a dollar, an opportunity, a belief about what you deserve, and the grip feels like protection. It feels like wisdom. It feels like the responsible management of a limited resource in an uncertain world. But the grip, held long enough, becomes the ceiling, and the ceiling, once recognized, is the beginning of everything. In the last step, we talked about the 5 obstacles, the internal forces that stop capable people from building the financial life they deserve. Today, we close the series with the lesson most people never reach. Not because they don't have the opportunity, because the ego, the fear, and the scarcity mindset talk them out of it before they ever get close enough to try. Giving and receiving, and why generosity, understood correctly, is not just a virtue. It is a financial strategy. It is a psychological transformation. It is the final wall between the person you are and the person your financial life is waiting for. Let's begin. Here is the belief most people carry about money, often without knowing they carry it. There's only so much. If I give some away, I will have less. If I share the opportunity, I lose part of it. If I help someone else win, it somehow diminishes my own chances. This is the scarcity mindset, and it is important to understand how it is different from the fear and greed we talked about in Step 4. In Step 4, we talked about fear and greed as forces that drive financial decisions. Scarcity is different. Fear is a reaction. Scarcity is a worldview. Fear says, "What if I lose this?" Scarcity says, "There was never enough to begin with." And a person operating from scarcity does not just fear losing. They cannot imagine having enough, even when they do. The scarcity mindset is not stupidity. It is not weakness. It is a rational response to a perceived reality. If you grew up in an environment where money was consistently not enough, where every dollar that left represented a real sacrifice, where generosity came at a genuine cost, then scarcity is not a belief you chose. It is a belief that was built into you by experience, and it felt true, because for the circumstances that created it, it was true. But here's the problem. The scarcity mindset that protected you in one environment will quietly destroy your wealth in every other environment. Because the scarcity mindset does not just affect how much you give. It affects every financial decision you make. The person operating from scarcity holds cash too long because deploying it feels like losing it. They avoid investments because putting money out feels like giving it away with no guarantee of return. They negotiate from fear rather than from value, which consistently produces worse outcomes. They hoard opportunities rather than sharing them, which consistently reduces the number of opportunities that come their way. They build walls around their wealth rather than systems that grow it. And the walls, over time, become a prison. Kiyosaki talks about a moment in his own financial life when he was at his lowest point, struggling financially, feeling the grip of scarcity more tightly than he ever had. And Rich Dad told him something that seemed, at the time, completely insane. When you feel you don't have enough, that is exactly when you need to give. Not as a religious obligation, not as a spiritual transaction, not as a manipulation of the universe, as a deliberate practice of training your mind to operate from abundance. Every time you give and the world does not collapse, you build one more piece of evidence against the scarcity belief. And evidence, accumulated over time, is the only thing that actually changes a belief. Here is what the research and the wealthy both confirm. Generous people build more wealth, not less. Not because the universe rewards them mystically, but because the mindset of generosity is structurally incompatible with the mindset of scarcity. And the mindset of scarcity is the single greatest predictor of financial stagnation. Chuck Feeney built a fortune of $8 billion through duty-free retail, and then he gave almost all of it away, anonymously, while he was still alive. Not because he was reckless, because he understood something most wealthy people never learn. Money held tightly stops moving. Money released deliberately comes back multiplied. He called it giving while living. And by the time he died, he had given away $8 billion and lived on a modest income. Not because he had to, because he chose to. And that choice, made deliberately over decades, taught him more about abundance than any investment ever had. Warren Buffett and Bill Gates created the Giving Pledge, a commitment by the world's wealthiest people to give away the majority of their wealth, not after they are gone, while they are alive, because they understood what Chuck Feeney understood. Wealth circulated is more powerful than wealth accumulated. Think about what the generous mindset produces in practical terms. The person who gives freely operates from abundance, and the person who operates from abundance makes different decisions. They take more calculated risks. They share opportunities instead of hoarding them. They build relationships based on trust instead of competition. They attract collaborators instead of isolating themselves. And relationships, trust, collaboration are the invisible infrastructure of almost every significant fortune ever built. No one builds wealth alone. The wealthy know this. Most people never learn it. Now, here's the other side of the equation that almost nobody talks about: receiving. Because giving is only half of the cycle, and most people are just as blocked on the receiving end as they are on the giving end. How many times have you undercharged for your work because asking for full value felt arrogant? How many times have you refused a raise because you didn't want to seem greedy? How many times have you minimized your contribution by saying, "Oh, it was nothing," when someone acknowledged what you built? These are not acts of humility. They are acts of financial self-sabotage, disguised as politeness. The person who cannot receive full value for their work will never build full value in their life. Not because they lack the skill, because they lack the permission. The internal permission to believe they deserve what they have earned. The inability to receive is the mirror image of the inability to give. Both come from the same root, the belief that there is not enough, that accepting fully takes something from someone else, that deserving is a quality you have to earn rather than a state you can simply inhabit. And this belief, when it operates in your financial life, produces devastating consequences. The person who cannot receive sends a signal to every person and opportunity around them. I am not open. I am not ready. I do not believe I deserve this. And the world, with remarkable consistency, tends to agree with how we see ourselves. Here is the practice that changes both. Give a percentage of every dollar that comes into causes, people, and communities that matter to you, not as a religious obligation, not as a spiritual practice, not because someone told you to, as a deliberate training of your mind to operate from abundance. Every time you give and the world does not collapse, you build evidence against the scarcity belief. Every time you give and something unexpected flows back, you build trust in the expanding nature of opportunity. And over time, that trust becomes the foundation of a completely different relationship with money. Not a relationship of fear, not a relationship of hoarding, not a relationship of scarcity, a relationship of flow. Money flows to those who understand how to move it, not to those who grip it tightest, not to those who dam it up and protect it from the world, to those who let it move, in and out, through giving and receiving, through deploying and returning, through the full participation in the cycle that wealth actually requires. Here is your action for this week. Give something. Not a large amount, not a sacrifice that strains you, something meaningful, directed toward something that matters to you. And notice what happens inside you when you do it. Notice the resistance. Notice the scarcity voice that says you cannot afford it. And then give anyway. And watch the world not collapse. Because it won't. And that moment, the moment the world does not collapse after you open your hand, is the moment the ceiling begins to lift. 12 steps, 12 ideas, 1 series. Step 1 taught you to see the cage. Step 2 taught you to see the difference between what you own and what owns you. Step 3 showed you which quadrant you are in. Step 4 showed you why you work for money instead of making money work for you. Step 5 gave you the language to see a different world. Step 6 told you to start building your own. Step 7 showed you the 4 intelligences that matter. Step 8 told you that idle money is dying money. Step 9 told you that fear is not a signal to stop. Step 10 told you to work for the skill, not the salary. Step 11 named the 5 things stopping you. And Step 12 says this: none of it works if you grip it too tightly. The cage, the assets, the quadrants, the language, the skills, the intelligence, all of it becomes more powerful the moment you stop holding on and start letting flow. That is the final lesson. Not the most obvious, but perhaps the most important. The wealthy do not just build wealth, they circulate it, they share it, they let it move, and in moving, it multiplies. That moment I mentioned, the moment you were holding something tightly, a dollar, an opportunity, a belief about what you deserve, and the grip felt like protection. Now you know what it actually was, a ceiling. Open your hand and watch what becomes possible. This is the final step in the Rich Dad Poor Dad series. 12 episodes, 12 ideas, one framework that has changed the financial lives of tens of millions of people around the world. Not because the ideas are complicated, but because they are true. And truth, when you finally let it in, has a way of changing everything. The complete series is in the playlist below. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. That is, after all, the entire point. Stay on the blueprint. See you in the next step.